Hey guys, welcome to another awesome webinar from AdmitKard. And today we are going to master the GRE and TOEFL exam. But not just that, we are going to gain expertise in a section that students are mostly afraid of, the verbal section. And so everyone who's joined us today, please drop a hi in the section that you have alongside the chat section. And first of all, we welcome you all. Hi Kabilan, hi Tanisha, hi Abhin Naba. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correct. So welcome to everyone who's joined us today, and people who are watching us on YouTube. You have a link down in the comment section. So just join us for the live chat towards the end. And also before you leave, don't forget to subscribe our AdmitKard channel. So with us today, we have a really special guest speaker, Prithviraj Desai, who has proved that mastering the verbal section can be very easy. So Prithviraj has got multiple admins from the top universities, like University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, mostly the top universities of US, and he's been doing great. He's got a GRE score of 315 with an AWA section score of 4. He's got 105 in TOEFL exam with 29 out of 30 in the writing and listening section. He's been an awesome student and been a part of AdmitKard as well. So welcome, Prithvi. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi Pragya, that was a wonderful introduction of me. Thank you for that. Hi everyone who has joined me recently, and I'm Prithviraj. I just graduated through online exams from NIT Surathkal. Yeah, I've been doing good. I'm pretty happy that I secured a very good admits. However, the things are pretty much not really optimistic. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with whatever struggle I went through, and ultimately achieving what I was always dreaming of.
Perfect. So all the people who joined us today, hi Chelsea, hi Rohit. There's a lot that we're going to discuss today. So let us quickly go through the agenda that we have for today. First of all, we'll discuss how to tackle the AWA section, particularly in the GRE exam. Is that section really important? Thirdly, how much AWA section influences the overall score? And is the AWA and the TOEFL essay, are they same? And again, how to prepare? And again, with Prithviraj, we'll be discussing some wonderful tricks that you can implement and master that. So before we actually begin, so Prithvi, can you just quickly tell something about yourself? What kind of student have you been? When did you think about studying abroad?
Yeah, sure. I think it was way back in 2017 and 18ish where I knew that I have to study more apart from bachelor's. And I think the only destination that comes to mind was United States, and because it's a wonderful destination to study, and namely the big universities it has. So it started on 2018, and then the whole starting journey begins from the GRE and TOEFL. Once you have your scores, then you're ought to go to good universities, and that's where it started. I started, I think, in April, and then gave my GRE last year July. By this time, I think the one who are listening right now, I think it's a very ideal time that even you started, because for fall 2021 you need a lot of time to prepare, and as you all, it's going to be very competitive, so make sure you give all your best for your fall 2021. I think that's going to help you out to get your the dream universities.
Perfect, Prithvi. So right now, being stuck at home because of the whole COVID situation, so what are you doing currently, or how are you using your quarantine time at home?
Okay, I think my most quarantine time goes in researching what US politics is happening in United States, because that's ultimately gonna impact all F1 students who are going. So I think keeping a very close look, even for the coming fall 2021 aspirants, should have always a close look what is happening in United States, come in understanding the immigration policies, because that is where you're going as a non-immigrant. So make sure everyone stays very much clear about it. And I've been spending most of time reading articles from Wall Street journals and everything, New York Times, what they're up to. And I think I should make my mentally prepared for whatever is going to happen, because dreams cannot change, maybe the past change. So yeah, that's what how I'm utilizing my quarantine to make sure I'm mentally prepared.
So, Pragya, I think your mic is not on.
Okay, I'm so sorry. So yeah, so I was saying, Prithvi, you've got some awesome admits from some of the top universities across the US. So you have University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. You've got admit from University of California, San Diego. You've got a scholarship from Illinois Institute of Technology, and again another scholarship from University of Cincinnati. So that's like getting all the good admits again with a scholarship. So how have you managed those admission, and how is your admission process?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm really grateful for all the universities I've got through. I was really very happy when I saw the offer letters from all the different universities. However, it started with the rejection. Like every story has a bad part. So even I had that way back in January. I got few rejects before getting any admits. I was pretty much off with that. But yeah, I was pretty hopeful that okay, I've done my best to put into these applications, and I was hoping maybe one or two good admits can will be very enough. So in the application journey, I think I was pretty consistent with the timelines because that is way important. And I started way back in April to make sure my timelines are very much rigid, and I know what should I be doing in that period of month or a period of week. So regarding SOP, regarding LOR, I made sure I was way ahead because of the deadlines, and I submitted a week or 15 days before itself so that I be relieved. And then that was my application process coming to an end. And I was hoping I'll get one. I think I made it through.
Perfect. So talking about exams like GRE and TOEFL, so when actually did you start preparing for these exams?
Yeah, as I said, I started way back in April when my sixth semester exams were about to complete. And while returning to home, I decided that okay, I should start my preparation right now. Anyways, I was interning at Bangalore, so I had pretty much good time there, and I was managing GRE for an hour or two just to get familiar with the vocabulary, with the sentences they use, and what they exactly look in the essays and passages we have to look for. So that's where when preparation began. I started with vocabulary, Magush vocabulary, and then I started with reading papers, reading some articles which are really boring because one of my seniors told me that uh, pretty essays are very much boring enough. So we have to be sure we used to read everything, get your answers right. And then by the end of June, first week or June second week, I started giving the mock tests at Manhattan and official GRE mock tests. I gave and I scored pretty well. I was pretty much confident by the July end, and I gave my exam. It really went well, and within a week or two, I even registered for TOEFL. And then because usually GRE prep is quite good enough for TOEFL examination as well. So it all went really good, and then I was very happy with the results, whatever I got.
Perfect. So today, Prithvi, we have gathered some questions that mostly students ask about the verbal section, and it's quite a dreadful section according to most of the students since they're good with quant and they don't know how to deal with the verbal part. So let us go through these questions one by one and try to get some help from you. So first question would be: is it true that writing section is score marker and breaker?
Well, yes. If you consider TOEFL as separate, then one-fourth of your marks is on writing section. So around 30 marks is on stake only because of writing. And if you write really well and very decent enough, I think anyone can score around 28 to 30, which is considered a really, really good score when it comes for applications. Because the reason is that if they see that you have a good writing skills, then the examinations, the thesis, everything comes very in handy. So it makes a very good impression on any application that you have a very good writing skills, and that comes from your TOEFL writing. Coming for AWA in GRE, it's the first two sections you have to go through. Like you just enter your center and you have to give first and second essay writing. That's really tiring, and you should be very much fresh in the new ideas into it, your opinions, your examples before you start your GRE examination. And that's how it's very important that it is. You should prepare well and get your marks well, because I heard that GRE score of AWA less than 3 is a very detrimental. I knew this from my seniors, and I was making sure I should never get below 3. But ultimately, I made sure I ate at least 4 at least, because it's a very tiring process, and you have to write a very good amount of your opinions, your examples, and it comes all by practice. It comes all by reading books. So I think it's a really make impression part of your application, I feel.
Perfect. So, so for all the students who've joined us, you can in fact ask all the questions towards the end of this webinar. So stay tuned. All the people watching us on YouTube, so you can join from the link given in the comment section and join us live so that you can again clarify your doubts from Prithvi. So moving forward, Prithvi, the next question would be: how did you prepare for AWA section?
Yeah, okay. I, in fact, initially didn't pay much attention for AWA initially because verbal and quant were the highest scoring marks. So I started with verbal and quant. And by the end of May, I guess I started reading what AWA is. There are a lot of good examples on internet. by GRE themselves, ETS, that they have written a very good essays, how to tackle them and everything. So I started from there. I watched few videos of the ones who have got 6 on 6 GRE AWA, and I got to know, okay, that this is what they're expecting from a student like us to write in the AWA section. And then eventually I started writing my own essays and sending it to my friends. I think that was a very good suggestion given by one of my friend, that you send to your seniors to read them and get opinions from. And I think I wrote it around 3 to 4 essays, if I'm not wrong, and sent it to 3 different 4 people. And they gave me their opinions, their ideas, their examples as well. And ultimately, I got to know, okay, this is the way it is. And I gave mock tests, which ETS mock test, and I didn't ignore the hour section. I think many of the students ignore our section and just go to verbal and quant and attempt the power prep test. But I guess a very strong suggestion is that don't do that, because a 3.5 or 4 hour test, you should be prepared mentally and make sure you take 1 hour writing in hour. So I made prepare for that. I knew this all way behind. So I think I was pretty much ready for what was coming ahead.
Perfect. And I think it's quite true. We can seek our friends' help in that. We can send it to some of the teachers that we have to maybe just mark it for us.
Yes.
None of us should actually ignore that part. It's really quite important. So you should be actually writing a lot of essays and get them marked. So the next question for you is how AWA is different from the TOEFL writing section.
Okay, I think if many of the people have started GRE prep, you know that AW section has 2 essays to write, and that is one is issue and one is argument essays. And whereas in TOEFL, it's about writing your opinion, and there's one more essay where you should listen to a class and then write your own opinions, what they have talked about or what was the conversation about. So all 4 essays are very different. But I think what was basis about any of those essays was your thoughts and your thinking. If those matches, and if you know what you're thinking, what your thoughts are, you can really put in a good verse irrespective of what the topic is. So I know that they both were very different, but I made sure the basics are very much right. Like example, the vocabulary, the grammar, and the sentence formations. If these 3 are pretty much good enough to write, I think that's a very good basic for any of the essays writing. And with the practice, I guess any AWA or any TOEFL writing section will be easy enough if you practice it really well. So I think, yeah, they are different, and I think one should never underestimate, like one essay we know, we cannot just write the other essay. So have to practice everything, and then that's where you're gonna get high marks.
So is there any particular kind of difference in terms of structure or the format in which it's supposed to be written or broken down into paragraphs?
Yes. In if you see only in paragraph, it's usually the first introduction, your opinion. One paragraph 2 will be your opinions, your examples, or what you want to say, and the third final paragraph will be your conclusion. This structure is almost similar for every essay, but the difference comes now is that what you're gonna write in those body parts, because of the question difference, you have to make sure you write the relevant info. Like you cannot just write your opinions if there's a conversation happening between 2 lecturers, because it's their opinion. You have to give us a third person opinion. That comes in TOEFL. Whereas in GRE, you can give your own opinions, and that may not be widely accepted. You can write your own views. You can give hypothetical situations. They all are accepted. But whereas in TOEFL, listening integrated part it is called, where you have to write what they have meant, what they have understood. Because when you understand a class, you should make sure you write in their perspective. So yeah, there is a subtle difference which we should all take care. And as I said, it all comes by practice again.
Perfect. So next question would be, do both of them need separate preparation? Which I think you've answered a bit. But again, to find relevant information on how do I need to prepare for each one of them, where can I find that, or how do I exactly prepare?
Okay, I think the initial part is pretty much same. Just make sure your vocab is pretty good enough for GRE verbal section and writing. Get done with that. Make sure you have a decent grammar and sentence formation, like object, noun, verbs. Everything should be pretty much same. If that is fine enough, I think it's okay that initial preparation is not needed much. Just hop into your practice sessions. And with practice, write some 3-4 essays, sit at a place and write for 30 minutes. That's really hard, I know, but you have to do it. Because at the end of the day, at exam centers, you have to do it. So there's no separate preparation, but it's just matter of the thoughts, what you're thinking. If they're pretty much good enough, you're good to go.
Perfect. So how is your experience at the exam center? So this is something that students really underestimate, on the test day, what actually needs to be done. So any particular tips that you would like to give for students on that test day, and, again, share your experience?
Yeah, well, I knew it way before that. Okay, if this is a essay writing is the first thing I have to do in the GRE. As soon as I go, there's gonna pop up an essay and I have to write it. So I knew this and I was really prepared mentally. I think everyone should be prepared that okay, I have to spend 1 hour next in writing, just typing on the keyboard, and it's a mentally tiring. So that is where I understood that okay, and I prepared for it. To be very honest, I prepared for that. I have to give 1 hour just writing. And regarding experience, it was really good at Bangalore. It was very much silence with air condition. I think there was no really physically tiring at all in the examination. So, and however, the time was pretty less, I felt, because you think a lot and then you have to write whatever is coming in your mind instantly. And to make sure even the sentence formations are right. So it's pretty hard, but I think if you have done enough that, okay, you have prepared well, I think it's okay to fine and go and write, give 30 minutes, but make sure you have in your mind that this is a structure. First, give
Right.
intro, two paragraphs, and an inclusion, conclusion. If you have in this mind, your automatically mind's gonna structure them very well, and then you can finish your 1 hour essays, and then you'll be good to go for quant or verbal, whichever comes next.
Perfect. So let us take a question from Disha here. Can you name some of the books that you read?
I was way back in 11th and 12th. I started reading few novels given by my friends. I admit I had to read Half Girlfriend also because I was in a peer pressure to read. But I think it was not really matter of what was the content of the book. I think it's more important is that are you understanding the author's perspective? So if you get the story of what author is trying to tell, it could be a
Mhm.
newspapers. I used to read newspapers as well, and of course the blog writing. I think that really helped me a lot. I used to write blogs. So the understanding happened eventually while reading books, while reading newspapers, or even listening to a very highly skilled professors who just talk in some different languages which you don't understand. So if everything is okay and if you're good in this way, I think you're pretty much in a stable position to write essays, to talk in a speaking section of TOEFL. You're good to go with that. So I don't think there's a content matters for any books. Just read whichever you get and try to understand what author is trying to tell. If you're that understanding, I think you're good to go now.
So Prithvi, there's so many students who are not avid readers, or somebody who can actually write a blog. As a student, even I did not write that much. So for such people, how can they improve their vocabulary? Because it's an important part of both the sections, or any of the tests. So how can a student actually go about improving their vocabulary?
Yes, I think even this is the same question I had when I started way back because some people told me I have to practice 1,000 words. And it's like I never practiced so much in ever in my life. But yeah, I had to do it because GR is really unpredictable. You don't know what was gonna pop up and then you don't know any clue about it. So this is where I saw a very good YouTube video where they told that how visually mind our works. Like if you see a picture and you can remember it for a longer time. So that's the trick I tried to apply. And there's a very good app on the Play Store, which is by Galvanize, who has these pictures as well as the words. So I think I practiced on 1 or 2 sets of that app, and I knew that this word comes, the image comes in my picture, and the relatively I get to know what was the meaning of it. So I started with that in April itself, and I think when the college started, I interacted with my friends. I used to randomly text them with the new word I learned, and then they used to be like, "Wow, you're learning so much." But yeah, that's how I started. I gave many words. I think for any new beginners, I would say the same. Just start reading new words, understand it, and use it. If you're using even 10 words a daily, it's really fine. Or just record your own voice and try to hear it what you're trying to tell. This all of what I did, and I think I learned around 1,000 words in 2-3 months by just some practice. And I think that helped me in writing TOEFL, where I use some luxury words into the TOEFL writing. I think that really helped me to get a good score, and I think that helped in SOP as well. So everywhere the basics are same. So get your basics done is what I say.
Perfect. So I'll take up a question here from Nagashri. I don't have much problem with TOEFL, but can you tell me a bit about GRE? I want specially.
Okay, I think this is where everyone has a problem. I think we'll discuss it in a really detail in the last few questions where we talk about it. I think we'll come to our section in particular in some time. I'll do that.
Okay. So we have one question from Anukriti Dikshit. Can you please tell the name of the app that you use?
Yeah, the app is called Galvanize on the Play Store. Even the Magoosh Flashcast is pretty fine, but they don't have pictures on it. So first you go with the pictures and then try to get it through the visual mind, and then come on to the Magoosh Flashback just to test how much you have got to know. So I think that's what I did, and it really helped. And as I said, I used to write essays, so I used to use those words like lucrative or anything whichever comes on my mind. So that's where I started doing it. So I think the app is Galvanize. So just to make note it.
Perfect. So before we move forward, actually, we have a poll here. Okay, so just 1 second.
Yeah, I think for many people, yeah. So I think this is the same common problem what I had way back into a year or back. So I think if people can put a text that okay they're finding any difficulties, if school is open up school, or else not just put a text that okay you're finding it really difficult writing, because I don't think many of you would have started writing essays right now. But please believe me, it's a really important. You can just
Right.
underestimate, because many people who have got 330s in GRE have got 2.53 hours and they again retook it. So there are such people in my friends who have done that. So
Right.
just make sure you have a balanced profile of GRE. So writing is really important. So people can put a text and let us know that do you really feel that way, and I should elaborate on it.
Yeah, so on the poll that we have, so most of the students actually would want a full-fledged workshop on the GRE AWA section and the TOEFL essay. It's actually important part, and most students don't know how to go about it. They think it's as simple as maybe just writing an essay, whereas the pattern actually matters on how you have to split up the paragraphs, on what pointers you're being marked, right? So, what all will be discussed in this workshop? So, before we move to that question, I would like to tell you this workshop is really going to be very personalized for each student, and Prithvi is going to make sure he helps you out in a very very customized way. So, yes, Prithvi, what all will be discussed in the workshop?
Okay, I think before answering what all we discuss, I'll tell why it should be discussed. I'll tell why, because the thing is, there's no much attention towards these essays. Even I felt the same way back in a year. There was no much attention. No one's gonna be there, okay, telling me, okay, this is the way it should be. This is not the way it should be. So there is a lack of this a particular part in the GRE where people don't get it and just they go with the flow and write it off. I think they're gonna lose a lot of marks in that, and especially in the TOEFL writing. And to be very honest, it helps in the SOP writing as well. As if you all of know, SOP writing should be very much genuine and honest. You cannot ask somebody to write it. You can just write on your own. So that's where again essay is important. So now what all we discuss in the workshop is I'm gonna go through all the things what I have done in the year, and then the most important USP part of this workshop will be I'll be writing a live essay in front of you. Like I'll just run through my thoughts, what I would have think if this topic would have come. This will make you understand, okay, this is how it should be. If this comes, I should think in this way. So the thought processing is what I'm focusing on, because I know everyone's is gonna intelligent, everyone has their own thoughts, but the thought matchmaking is important. So if people master that in 1 or 2 workshops and then they get to know this is the flow chart I should follow in my mind, any essay will be really cake, no cake, walk cake for any of them. So that's the main agenda of the workshop. Anyways, I'll be going through all the small tips. There's a general format for writing one section of AWA, which is an issue argument. Is a really a general template to follow it. I'll take care of that as well. And writing a live section will help you understand this is the way I should write an essay in the actual exam.
Perfect. So, okay, so one question that I would like to ask here is, how can a student get started for the essay preparation? So now, if we say there's a lot of material available online, and I think that has more or less become a problem, because once you search, on Google, it's going to show you so many things, and you would be confused. Yeah, that what material is trustable and everything, right? So, how exactly can a student start that preparation?
Oh, the first step, of course, is the ETS themselves. They have a lot of essays which are written. They have sample essays. So just go through it. It's not important what they have written. Understand how they have written, and that is how they have scored 6 on 6. And there is a good template of essays giving 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 mark, 4 mark, 5 mark, 6 mark. This will make you understand if I write this much, if I write this much quality, I'm gonna get this much mark. So this is a self-assessment one anyone can do while writing an essay. So the first stop anywhere should be this, the ETS one. And after that, once you know this is gonna happen, pick a random topic on ETS website. There are and to just to remind you, ETS will not give any topic other than what they have mentioned on the website. There's around 170 to 180 topics which you cannot master, but they made sure that they'll not give any topic other than that. So if you're lucky enough, you might get the one which you have practiced as well. I was hoping that I couldn't get it though. But yeah, all the topics are mentioned on the ETS website. So pick a random topic, put a timer on yourself, a 30-minute timer, and start writing. For the beginners, you can take 35 minutes, which I did. I took 5 minutes extra to write my own, and eventually I lowered it down to 30 minutes. And the next thing I did to send my friends, I just request them, okay, please guys, just read it and tell me what it is, how it you defend. And I got a very good response on the second essay, but not on the first, because first was really very short. So, but that was a good start. So I think it's fine enough that you start with it, and then you start writing. Just start on the Word document, and then you're good to go. I think you're fine with that.
Perfect. So we have a question from Abhinava Datta who says, "Sir, I don't have decent debating skills. So how can I improve it?"
I think in that sense, I think watching videos is really good. Talking about any topic, like there's a Vox channel, there are a lot of YouTube channels which talk on a random topic, like about mountains, anything. Just listen to them, what they're trying to tell. I think that's what I used to do. Watching videos are really good. Like if intellect videos are there, watch them. If not, if you're okay with hearing TEDx talks, that's an ultimate stop for anyone who wants to improve their thought processes. So just try improve. You don't need to be master on it on any essays. You have to be honest, you have to be genuine with the thoughts, and more into reality perspective. If a reader will feel that, okay, this is a real situation, he has tried to mention that, they're going to really appreciate that, whether it's an SOP purpose or a TOEFL purpose, anywhere. So be yourself, don't change yourself in that, just improve it. That's what I say.
Perfect. So one thing before we end the webinar would be some tips, the final tips or some tricks that you would have developed while you were studying or preparing for GRE or TOEFL writing section. So any trick that you would like to share with all the students, or any preparation tip that you would have?
Yeah, yes. I think one which I regret a lot right now is I was really very lazy while preparing. So please, guys, don't do that. Don't be lazy to read English, because it's gonna take you a long way. Just assume if you have got a GRE or a GRE hour section of 5, it's gonna make a so much impact on your application that you're almost perfect as a writer. That implies that. So guys, don't be lazy. Make sure you have a schedule to prepare yourself, reading vocabulary, reading new sentences, and then of course reading blocks. If you're fine with reading any type of blocks, is really fine. And next tip I would get, read some boredom topics, guys. Any topic can pop up in the passages. Anything, it could be written for astronomy to an economic class, anywhere. So just read a boredom topics so that you don't get bored. And then next, the way would it be the economic times, anywhere, read about financial things, because those are really boring which you don't understand. But if you're trying to get those, I think you will be ace the passages as well. Regarding science and everything, I think everyone can clear them. But the boredom topics, in the halfway of the passage, you will start feeling, oh, I cannot read it anymore. So you should have the practice of reading some really boring topics. Those are my really good suggestions. I missed those, so I can tell you guys.
Perfect. So before we actually take up next questions, Prithvi, can you quickly tell all the students on how they can register for this workshop, and what is the exclusive offer that we have for the students who are live attendees of this webinar exclusively?
Yeah, yes. Before that, I would like to thank AdmitKard for allowing me to have a workshop like this, because I understand what students require at that point of time when they have to take an examination. So thank you, AdmitKard, for that. And regarding coming to workshop, I think the link is in the chat section on the webinar jam. So you can click on it and register yourself. As I said before, the USP thing would be like no one else would have done before, I think. That would be the writing a live section, which I'll be doing right in front of you on the live. So that will help you to get it, okay, this is a strategy I'll be using in your examination. And that's going to help you to understand this is a thought process you should also do in your examination. I'll be taking all through the how it is, what it is, and what are the topics which is there on Google, which I'll not discuss more in the workshop. But what is not there and what is important, and I personally felt, and my personal experiences I'll share. And then on the day one, I'll write an AWA section essay, and on the day two, I'll write a TOEFL section essay, which is an integrated. You have to listen to an audio and then you have to write it on your words. I'll do both of them in the sections. So I think that would be really great exposure to all of them who has given a GRE before, and then you will also know what exactly it would be. We'll put a timer, and I think on that, for all the ones who are attending right now, I think the webinar was really priced at 999. But the ones who are joining this right now, it all be for exclusive only 350 rupees for 2-day workshop, which I'll be writing 2 essays, which almost the cost of your pizza at your Pizza Hut. So just make a good choice of whether you would want to go for an abroad journey or have a meal at your Pizza Hut. So it depends on you what you choose. But I think investing on your future is a really good thing, what I feel, and you should never hesitate. That's what I feel, yeah.
I cannot agree anymore. I think investing in yourself is really, really important. Reading some good books, purchasing some books, or maybe, some ebooks at this point of time. Going through some courses, it's really important. So this course is, available to all the exclusive attendees of this webinar at a really, really reasonable price that you would just not, spend in just one day. So that's really awesome. And for all the students, you'll be really receiving a personalized guidance from Prithviraj, and he's done a great job in both the exams. So I think he can really share on what if the exam is really about, what the examiner is looking for, so that you can actually master it and make sure you're putting in a good impression in front of the university. So now, Prithvi, we'll take up a question here that we have from Nagashri. The points should be covered while writing essay, and in what sense the past or the present tense will be better?
Oh, well, it depends on the topic. Like, if I remember what topic I had got was the same which were happening now, whether online classes are really benefit or not. Trust me, this was my topic in my essay. So I talked that topic in a really future tense because that was not a situation presently happening. So I gave them a hypothetical situation that if this is going to happen, the online things are benefited. If things are really normal, then online classes have their own disadvantages, like you don't have to talk to your friends, you don't have an access to libraries or anything as such. So it really depends on the topic. But if the topic is given which is not happening right now, please do that in the future tense, because you can give your hypothetical situations where they'll understand, okay, this is your thinking of towards it. But and if it's a normal topic, general topic, which it's really in the present tense, I think go for the present tense.
Perfect. So next question is from Naeem. Which section of TOEFL is tough?
Which section? I think it was maybe speaking section, because the time is really less. Because you have to speak it out in just 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and the time of thinking is just 15 or 20 seconds. It depends, total depends. So I really faced a hard time at speaking section. But again, that also comes by practice. I practice with my friends talking on it, putting a timer or so. And if you're lucky enough, you're gonna get very simple topics, which I didn't get, and I messed up in speaking section. Yeah, so focus on speaking section as much as possible. For listening section, if you're able to watch English movies on Netflix, you're gonna get a high score.
Perfect. So I think this workshop is not just really about the particular sections. I think you can really share some awesome tricks that you have implemented in your exam. And for me also, I've given both the tests, so I know how the test. You develop your own ways when you're studying. So for all the attendees, this is available at a very reasonable price. So you can just click on the link on the top, and I'm going to again put it in the chat section for you. So I think if for anybody who has further questions, you can just put them up in the chat section, and we'll take them up right now. And okay, so one thing, Prithvi, here that I would like to talk about is the mentor that you have been a part of in AdmitKard. So anything that
Yeah.
you would like to share on that, since for all the attendees of this webinar, we have an exclusive offer where we are going to connect you with students who are already studying abroad in your target universities, and which is the entire mentorship program by AdmitKard. So for all the students, once you become a part of the workshop, not just the English section, but also somebody who's right now in your dream university will guide you personally in form of a chat or a video session. Prithvi, you've been a part of AdmitKard and you've been connected to mentors. So something that you would like to share in that matter.
Yeah, well, yes. I think it was in March when I got my UIUC admit, that is Illinois college. And as soon as I got an admit, I immediately messaged AdmitKard, okay, I need a mentor to talk about. I think it was first from UIUC who helped me to talk, and he gave me all the insights what was happening in his college. So I think mentorship is a really great way of interacting with the students who have already there. I've been a student also, and maybe in the future I might be one who will be staying there as well, and I'll be ready to help. So because helping is really important to understand what exactly is happening over there, because we cannot assess any situations just be staying at in India. So the ones who are there in the US can give you a much better picture, much better things about your courses or anything related to any non-academic stuff as well. So I think that way you can really utilize this platform, guys. And then I've been lucky; I've got a guide, and then I got a mentor whom with anything I can discuss about. I think even you're good to go for that. And then just get going with it. And for any dream universities you're planning for, start connecting with the mentor and understand how did they get through it and what are things they did so that they went for the dream university.
So again, the one big thing about this workshop that you're offering is, mostly we find courses from a lot of teachers and a lot of things are available online. But the best part about this workshop is that it is being delivered by somebody who's gone through the exam just now
Yeah.
a few months back, right? So for all the students, Prithvi has all the experience and the real time first hand experience. He's been in your shoes, and I think that's the best thing, in terms of getting a peer-to-peer connection and somebody who can guide you. So do register for this workshop. It's like investing in yourself at a totally reasonable price. So anything you would like to say, Prithvi, before we end this webinar to all the students?
Yeah, as I said, guys, just get going. I mean, your dreams comes just once and then they're gonna be for your lifetime. So never, step back and then don't do stuff which are gonna hamper your chances. So just get going, and this is a really good time to invest in this lockdown. Then not only in the writing sections, you can ace in your verbal sections, reading passages, anything whichever gonna help you. And then of course, university shortlisting, everyone's gonna that's there anyways. So just invest in yourself for this lockdown. And when your colleges start or when the applications start, you should have a really smooth process to do any of their applications. I think that's what I wish to say, and that's what I even did. I think that was the best thing I did, and luckily I'm gonna go US soon.
Perfect. That's really great. So, Prithvi, thank you so much. We're a part of this webinar, and I think you shared some really, really good tips. And I'm really glad you're taking too much interest to help out students, really master the verbal section and hosting this, workshop that you've even done before. And I think the previous response was also wonderful. So again, on that note, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you'll be able to go to US soon. And I think you've done a great job being a part of AdmitKard, and also with your all the admits and scholarships. You've got a $10,000 worth of scholarship. That's really awesome. So keep going, and for all the students that are here, register on the workshop. It's really worth going through. It's not that pricey, but something that you really need to get connected with somebody
Yeah,
who has just gone through it.
because
So
not many of the
and
students
for
gonna
all the
have.
students, yeah. So for all the students, if you have any more questions, not just about this workshop or GRE, you might have any doubts about, which university you should apply for, or, if you'll be able to go, what is the situation about COVID in different countries, do ping us, and you can do that by mailing us on info@admitkard.com, and we'll reach out ASAP. Also register on the workshop again. And so thank you so much, Prithvi. I'll see you again. And for all the students, stay safe, and we'll see you again in the awesome webinar again.
Yeah, all the best everyone who have attended this webinar. Thank you so much for bearing me successfully, and thank you Pragya again for having a smooth webinar.
Perfect. Take care. Bye.
Yeah.